opponents off balance. Those toppled to the ground are out of the contest, but will live to fight another season. The victor takes possession of his prize. Others, like the rhino beetle, have only one season to prove themselves.
Well, like all insects, the rhinoceros beetle develops through different life stages until it becomes a fully formed adult. In fact, it spends more of its life like this as a grub than it does like this as an adult. As a grub, it feeds on rotting logs and leaf litter, and it's the availability of this food source which determines how big its body and horns will be when it emerges as an adult.
When food is plentiful, their larval development is extended, resulting in larger horn and body size. Victory will be governed by their fortunes as a grub. In most cases, large horns are the key to success. They are able to lift 850 times their own weight. But even in triumph, the victor must contend with his persistent competitors. Even as his paternity hangs in the balance. While the rhino beetles fight it out among themselves, another horned insect waits in hiding for a particular tree to fall before its battles can begin. A white mahogany tree falls and begins its process of decay. It exudes an odor that acts like a magnet for a rare and elusive little insect. For the antlered fly, it signals a potential egg-laying site for the female of their species. Rarely seen, antlered flies are a highly unusual group of insects. Distinct from other flies, the males bear greatly oversized antlers. They are actually extensions of their exoskeleton. Males come from all over the forest to make a claim on a suitable egg-laying site. They don't engage in brutal battles. Their power struggles involve subtle body and wing gestures, as well as some pushing and shoving. A male that is clearly inferior in size simply makes an appearance and flies off without a challenge. This is known as an intrusion. More evenly matched males linger, flick their wings, and sway their bodies. If two males are evenly matched, their posturing culminates in the interlocking of horns and head-on combat. They push against each other, their antlers interlocked, and rise up on the tips of their middle and hind legs. This usually only lasts for a few seconds before one of the males is overpowered and retreats. They may engage in a few of these battles before a winner is decided. Battles become complicated by the arrival of a female. Her foremost concern is finding a suitable location to lay her eggs. Usually the exact site that the male is guarding. She may have already mated, but this doesn't stop the presiding male from mating with her again. But even while the pair are mating, other males make challenges. Even after they've mated, the male stays astride the female, ensuring no other males have access. She inserts her ovipositor beneath the bark and lays her egg clutch. While she lays, the presiding male continues his guard. For the antlered fly, the size of his antlers are his passport to paternity. This is the eastern escarpment of Israel's Judean desert, the lowest point on land.
And like any desert, it appears lifeless, but looks can be deceiving, for this is one of the favourite haunts of a wild species of goat known as the ibex. And if you happen to be here at the right time of year and the right time of day, you may be lucky enough to witness one of the spectacular displays of male rivalry.
These battles are among the most vigorous of any horned mammal. The force of a full horn impact is equal to 4 tons of pressure. These old males are over 6 years of age and have the largest horns of the herd. Facing backwards, their horns are clearly not used against predators. Their defense is their extraordinary agility. When threatened, they can escape into rugged and inaccessible terrain. Their sponge-like hooves are able to grip rocks, where a single slip could mean death or severe injury. To fully appreciate how the ibex uses its horns as a weapon is to understand its breeding cycle. For most of the year, males live separately from females. Towards the end of autumn, the herds merge in preparation for mating. A well-defined hierarchy exists within the male group. Those who dominate are large-bodied and boast large horns. They're weapons in the violent battles that precede mating. For ibex, large horns and exclusive mating rights can only be attained with old age. But this doesn't deter the younger males from trying to win over females. With necks lowered and tongues outstretched, they test the reproductive readiness of the females by tasting airborne hormonal levels. Females prefer to mate with old males and will ignore the approaches of those that are unsuitable. But the young males continue regardless. While ibex horns grow throughout life, they slow their growth on maturity and stop growing altogether in the breeding season. This may be because males expend a lot of energy and eat little, or perhaps it's a result of changing hormonal levels. These females may have already mated and show increasingly less interest. By the end of the rut, the males regroup and recover from the exhausting 6-week rutting and mating period. Yet throughout their lives, males continue to jostle. They will often gather together in a huddle to size up their opponent's horn size. While the old males need only to maintain their status, the young must establish a place in their upwardly mobile peer group. Young males engage in the most violent battles. They rear up to increase the impact of their assault. Ibex horns are designed in such a way that they both inflict offensive blows and deflect the blows of opponents. On contact, they twist their heads slightly to lessen the impact, which is taken on the strongest lower part of the horn. The bony ridges prevent the horns from slipping past each other and causing accidental injury. Some battles do result in broken horns and wounds, but the greatest damage is that caused to the male's social status, denial of the right to mate with females. While old males engage in fighting more often, it is more ritualized and less energetic. They have the advantage of experience and use their weapons sparingly. Ironically, once old males reach their sexual zenith, they become the most vulnerable. Their heavy bodies and greatly oversized horns reduce their agility. This not only increases their chances of serious injury on the slopes, but also makes them prime targets for predators. They're forced to move with less speed and greater caution. While the success of their weapon now jeopardizes their own survival, they have ensured the proliferation of their own offspring. A dominant male's reign may only last a few seasons before one of his subordinates succeeds in taking the top position. Such is the price of a weapon that serves only a social function. While the weapon of speed is used primarily for securing prey, horns play a completely different role in an animal's life, but one that is equally important. They are the weapons used between males to joust and butt, clash and posture. While the fights are sometimes violent, they are ritualized and more about mating than maiming. They are a form of contact body language that determines who mates with who. The larger horned victors pass on their genes at the expense of males less well endowed. It is this genetic selection that ensures that horns continue to be used as vital weapons in social battles by creatures large and small from all over the planet.